One,
One,
two.
two.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Check, 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 check. Where'd you get the coffee?
Right over there.
Right here?
Yeah, there's like a Starbucks box pitcher or carafe thing. National Signing Day 2019 at Kennesaw State University, and it's presented by Fifth Third Bank. Brian Giffen with Nathan McCreary. We are live from the football offices here at KSU, and Nathan, this is a pivotal signing class that we're going to look at today. 23 commits so far, and obviously they kind of come into a tough act to follow, given the fact that this group accomplished so much that moved on. The 22 seniors, not to mention very valuable underclassmen.
Yeah, no doubt. Of the 22 seniors that graduated, really overachieved and put this Kennesaw State football program on the map. And Coach Brian Bohannon expects the new crew that's coming in not let anything drop off. This is going to be a very important signing class to replace those players.
It's going to be interesting to see, how many position battles that we have once camp rolls around. And obviously that's a long ways off, but you do replace a lot of key guys, particularly along the offensive line. You would seem to have an heir apparent at quarterback, but you also have a wealth of talent, including a couple that we'll get into that are part of this class. So that's kind of a key question also, as Chandler Burks was such an anchor over his career here at KSU.
Yeah, those names that we said so many times over the last few years are going to be moving on. 6 offensive linemen are moving on. You're going to have to replace those. But we did see some very good young athletes start to see some playing time this past season. So you are not starting fresh, but it is going to be an important signing class to get some new guys in there, maybe redshirt a few, and continue to build in this program.
Much as you had that continuity on the field, you also had a lot of continuity on the coaching staff. And we talk a little bit today, and we'll introduce you to some of them coming up in a little bit, but 4 new defensive assistant coaches as well.
Well, your program's going well when your coaches are being cherry-picked by other programs, and that's what's happened here. And you've got a new defensive staff. We're excited to meet those coaches and get to know them a little bit as well.
Well, of course, you return a very talented core. We referenced the fact that, you come off back-to-back conference titles. You also come off back-to-back trips to the quarterfinals, the national quarterfinals, and the goals are obviously much higher than that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You got to find a way to kind of get over that hump. The young program going back-to-back quarterfinals, it's hard to say that you're striving for better, but it doesn't get much better than that except for those national championship games. So, yeah, you're just going to have to find a way to get it done. You're just going to be starting with a new field general with quarterback, and it's the battles are going to be fun to watch, seeing these new guys come in and develop. It's a really exciting time here at Kennesaw State.
Says a lot about what you've accomplished when you're getting ready for your 5th year and you're not satisfied with back-to-back quarterfinal appearances. That's a pretty impressive feat, and going into only the 5th year of the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's still people look at this program and say, how have they done it? And this is going to be another chapter of this program, and they're going to have to kind of rebuild that defense from the coaching staff and the offensive line. We'll see how it goes.
The other thing I think that's going to be intriguing as you get ready to get into spring ball, and of course beyond that once you get as far as fall camp, is to see who emerges now among the remaining underclassmen and guys that have kind of worked their way through the program, and who are going to be the leaders going forward.
Yeah, we've mentioned some of those names, like a Bryson Armstrong, Daniel David, who got some great playing time. Those are the names that we expect to see early on, but there's going to be some players that pop up, some new names that we don't know. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Well, we're about ready to get this party started, so why don't we swing it over to the podium and Al's defensive line coach and recruiting coordinator, Liam Cline. Liam?
Thanks, gentlemen. I really appreciate you guys being here. I want to thank everybody for being here today to celebrate this class. I can't tell you how excited we are about this Nest Up 19 class that we have signed and that we're going to get a few more names today. It's certainly a very talented class. We're going to be able to see some highlights from everybody today, and we're going to hear from our coaches as we announce these names. We were very fortunate to be able to sign 19 of these young men in December. And today we should be expecting a few more faxes. Some have already come in, so we'll be reading those names off here in a little bit. But we'd like to get this thing started. I'd like to introduce our quarterbacks and 2-backs coach, Coach Cody Worley.
Good morning, Al Nation. Like Coach Cline said, my name is Cody Worley. I coach the quarterbacks, and I'm privileged to introduce our 2 new quarterbacks in this signing class. First young man's name is Xavier Shephard. Xavier Shephard joined the Owls in January as the first ever early enrollee from Pearl-Cohn High School in Nashville, Tennessee. Shephard was a 3-year starter, leading the Firebirds to back-to-back state semifinal appearances as a sophomore and a junior. During his prolific career, He accumulated 5,485 yards and 52 touchdowns through the air and 1,778 yards and 25 touchdowns on the ground, averaging a total of 158 yards per game. Xavier, a 3-star rated quarterback according to 24/7 Sports, was named to the All-Metro and All-Region teams 3 years running, while also being named to the region's offensive and overall MVP. He was one of 3 finalists for Mr. Football in Class 3A in Tennessee. His skill set and intangibles make him the prototype fit at quarterback in the Owl's prolific option attack. Welcome to Owl Nation, Xavier Shephard. Okay, our next young man is Jonathan Murphy. Jonathan Murphy joins the Owls from Los Angeles, California. He enrolled in January coming from Long Beach City College. This past season, he threw for 700 yards and rushed for 370 yards as a dual threat in the Vikings offense. He finished the season being named to the second-team all-conference team. In his illustrious high school career, Jonathan threw for over 6,000 yards and 50-plus touchdowns for the Westchester High School in Los Angeles. In his senior year, he was named the Western League Offensive Player of the Year. In all, Jonathan helped lead the Comets to 19 wins in his last 3 seasons on the varsity, turning around a losing program. We're excited to see Jonathan take the field this spring and get after as an Owl. Welcome to the nest, Jonathan Murphy.
National Signing Day presented by Fifth Third Bank, and Cody Worley kind enough to come over and join us. Coach, we'll have you grab a microphone there, and let's talk a little bit about these two guys. Obviously, this is a kind of a key year because, you know, you lose such a stalwart as your quarterback, and now you've really got some depth at the position and also 2 very excited and talented newcomers that are joining today.
Absolutely. It's very unique that you can add 2 new guys, especially early enrollees. You know, Xavier Shephard, a high school kid. He should be a high school senior right now in his spring semester, really, and we were lucky enough to get him early and enroll in January. He's done a phenomenal job thus far. You know, with his skill set, everything that you want in a quarterback in our offense, he has. He's tough. He's extremely smart and talented from an intangible standpoint. And then obviously his ability on the field shows in his numbers and his accolades and his leadership. So we're really excited about him. And then Jonathan Murphy, obviously you're looking to add some depth at offensive line. You see Jeremiah Polo's film, and bam, who's this quarterback?
Yeah.
You know? So Coach Cline brought him to the table, and like Xavier, he has the skill set you're looking for. He's extremely twitchy, fast kid who can really go lefty, really smooth.
I was going to say a lefty.
Yeah, it has the Michael Vick release, so we're really excited to, you know, I'm excited to coach a lefty, but having both of these guys coming in January is incredible. They get a jump start on everything, get to introduce the offense to them in the spring and see them compete, and like you said, to add depth to our already pretty good roster of guys coming back. So we're really excited. I know I'm really excited to add these 2 young men.
You mentioned the intangibles of these players. It's a different style offense that a lot of colleges run. What are some of the intangibles you go into looking for as a quarterback? It's going to have to be in this kind of offense.
You know, it's amazing. You know, the first thing I ask a high school coach is, who are the 3 toughest kids on your team? Mm-hmm. And if the quarterback's not one of them, he's probably not going to have a great opportunity as an Owl. So toughness, the leadership intangibles. Obviously, you have to be an intelligent kid to play quarterback in our offense. But most importantly, the toughness piece and those things from a leadership standpoint, and then, you know, the ability to run the football and not shy away and then throw the football, stretch the football down the field. But the biggest thing, if a kid is tough, smart, and loves the game, he can thrive in our offense.
When you get a guy in closing that hasn't really run an option-style offense, how much learning curve, how much does it take to kind of acclimate him to such a well and precision-timed offense like this?
Well, you know, a lot of kids, you know, they haven't taken a snap under center, so that's one of the things is A1A day one. But once they get the feel of things, you know, you hear a lot of kids. They're like, Coach, man, this is easy. It's the same thing I was doing, you know. So once they get over the learning curve of doing some things under center, and if you have quick feet, eyes, and hands, you can do it, and you can see those things translate with these guys on film. So those are things that you look for. But the transition, you know, once they get into it and start competing, their instincts take over, and it's a lot of fun to see.
Well, Coach, we congratulate you, like we will everybody, on the hard work and the great accomplishments you guys have on this signing class, not to mention the previous ones. This program's come a long way in such a short period of time. Thanks for coming up and hanging out with us for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Let's go back to the podium where Al's offensive coordinator, Grant Chestnut, is standing by with more. Coach?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Grant Chestnut. I'm the offensive line coach, offensive coordinator here at Kennesaw State. I have the honor of introducing two of our 2019 offensive line signees. The first young man that I'll introduce this morning is the biggest Al in the 2019 signing class. Standing 6'4" and weighing 325 pounds, Antoine Phan is a large man. Antoine is coming to KSU from Perry High School, where he was a two-way starter on both offensive and defensive line. He is an extremely agile big man and will be a great fit for our offensive line. In 2018, he was selected to the prestigious North-South All-Star Classic and garnered first-team All-Region honors. Also, Antoine is the second player from Perry High School to sign with the Owls in the past 2 years, joining high school teammate Ja'Cory Burks. We're extremely excited to have Antoine join the Owl family. The next young man that I have the honor of introducing is another offensive line signee, an offensive tackle, Devin Floyd from Rome High School. Devin Floyd stands at 6'1", 270 pounds. Devin is an athletic big man who helped lead his team to 50 wins during his career. He is a two-time state champion as the Wolves won titles in 2016 as well as 2017. As a junior and senior, Devin was selected to the All-Region team, and this past season he was credited with not giving up a single sack. Throughout his time in high school, he also played basketball. Devin plans to major in sports broadcasting and will be the second player from Rome to wear the black and gold this fall, joining Russia and Desmond Johnson. Please welcome Devin Floyd to the Owl Nation.
All right, so two offensive linemen, Nathan, as Coach Chestnut will head over and spend a couple minutes with us here, and we'll talk about these O-line additions. And you and I prefaced it in the open, Nate, as Coach Chestnut has a seat with us here. This is kind of an area where you've got some question marks because you graduated so many mainstays. And, Coach, first, congratulations. Great to have you over here with us. And just, well, for one thing, you don't have too many 320 guys on this O-line. This is typically smaller and quicker.
Right, absolutely. Well, Antoine's unique. He is a very athletic guy, you know, and to be so big, he's really a perfect fit and really the prototype of what we look for, particularly inside at offensive guard. He can really move well. Obviously, we've touched on how large he is, but he can bend and do all the things really that we get excited about within our offensive system up front. So, looking forward to getting him into camp, you know, in August, and really getting him here on campus in June to get him in shape and get rolling. We're hopeful that he can help us early, you know, and fill in, and as you guys have mentioned a few times this morning, you know, help us with our depth as we're replacing six offensive linemen. So,
Coach Bohannon always talked about winning the state and recruit the state. You got a kid from Perry and a kid from Rome. Again, you're recruiting the state. These are two big athletes from the state. That's got to be important for this program.
Absolutely. You know, Georgia, we've said from day one when we started here, going on 6 years ago now, which is kind of amazing, that we were going to prioritize Georgia because it is such a talent-rich state, and we continue to do that. And we're very excited to get these young men from very proud programs, both at Perry and Rome High School.
We talked about it with Coach Worley with the quarterback position, but it's really similar with offensive linemen when they come to you and they're relatively new to this scheme, because your blocking schemes are somewhat complex and a little bit different than maybe a lot of what they've done in high school.
Well, absolutely. Our offensive system, whether you're an offensive lineman, a quarterback, a running back, or a wide receiver, it's a developmental offense. And once guys have an opportunity to get enough reps and get, really in sync with the offense and what we're asking them to do, it's really a thing of beauty. But it does take some time to get guys ingrained and running well in our system.
Well, being the offensive line coach, and you got to be proud of what the outgoing offensive line did, stepping up, and it has to be a good example for the program just as a whole.
No question. We talked to all these guys early on, when we were recruiting that very first class, that they were going to have an opportunity to make history and leave a legacy. Yeah. And those guys up front, those 6 guys up front, absolutely did that. They're a special group. They'll always have a special place in my heart and Coach Cook's heart as their position coaches. We hate to see them leave, but we are very excited about our future and the young men that we've recruited through the past couple years.
It's going to be fun to watch. Coach, congratulations on a great signing class. We appreciate you coming over and spending some time and shedding some light on these guys. And before you know it, we'll see you at spring ball. Not going to be long.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Grant Chestnut spending some time with us here talking about the newest O-line additions to the Kennesaw State program. Let's go back to the podium now. We're running backs and special teams. Coach Tim Glanton is standing by. Coach?
Good morning, our nation. I'm Tim Glanton. I'm the special teams coordinator and also the slots back coach here. I've got the privilege this morning of introducing the 2 really dynamic offensive players. Nakeem Farrell is the first guy up. Nakeem Farrell's a running back from Blakey County High School in Cochran, Georgia. We're excited to announce the addition of Nakeem to the Owl family. Nakeem is a running back that comes to KSU from Blakely County High School in Cochran, Georgia. During his junior and senior seasons, he was named to the Region 3 2A All-Region team, as well as captain of the Royals. During his career, Nakeem rushed for over 2,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. Widely known as one of the fastest players in the state of Georgia, Nakeem is the cousin of former Owl Derek Farrell. We truly are looking forward to Nakeem being an outstanding running back here for the Owls. Welcome, Nakeem Farrell. I've got the honor of welcoming Iein Cousins. He's a running back, 6 foot, 165 pounds from Mount Zion High School in Carrollton. At 5'10", and 175 pounds, Iein is a dynamic player who will bring big play capabilities to Kennesaw State offense. He's better known as Mike. All of his friends and family, that's what they call him. He racked up over 2,100 yards, all-purpose yards, and scored 31 touchdowns while playing quarterback, wide receiver, and returner and defensive back. Mike led Mount Zion to a 37-11 overall record, as well as 2 quarterfinal appearances and a semifinal appearance during his 4 years as a varsity player. He garnered first team, all region, and all state honors as a junior and a senior, and was selected as the Region 6A Player of the Year his senior year. He's also an outstanding student who has been on the AB honor roll throughout his high school career and scored top 5 at Mount Zion on the ACT. Welcome, Iein Cousins.
All right, so a couple of running backs joining the stable and a deep and talented stable, Nathan, as Coach Glanton comes over to spend a couple minutes with us here to talk about these guys. And, you know, that's another area. You know, you move on at Darnell Holland. You keep a Shaq Terry in the fold for the time being as Coach Glanton jumps in and joins us. One of the first things that jumped out about these two guys, Coach, is, you know, here you have you already have your first legacy player in effect with Nakeem Farrow joining the fold, Derek Farrow's cousin.
The thing that you like about Nakeem is he's really humble. He's kind of quiet, but when you watch him on tape and you get to watch him play live, he's very dynamic. He's got great ball skills. He's got really good feet, and he possesses what I call he's got GG. He's got that get gone factor. And we really excited to have Nakeem with us.
So Mike Cousins, I think it's cool that as part of the introduction, talk about his ACT score. This is not only an athlete but a student athlete at that.
But he's Iein is one of the top students in Mount Zion High School. The kid really focuses on his academics. I know during his high school career that was something that, when I first met him, it was the first thing he talked about was academics. But when you watch him on tape, he's a longer slot than we've had here. He's very dynamic. He's got really good ball skills. I mean, he's a kid that we feel like that we'll be able to use a lot of different ways.
Well, obviously, it's a position that you guys have to have the depth at. These guys take a pounding, and they're such a key part of the offense. I know that Coach Bohannon likes to redshirt first-year guys a lot of times. Likelihood maybe a couple of these guys see the field the first year. I know it's a long ways off, obviously.
When we get into camp, these guys are going to have an opportunity to compete for an opportunity to get on the grass. And I have no doubt that these two kids are going to come in. They're going to be hungry. They like I said, they possess all the skill set that we like for those guys to have, and it'll be a great competition when we get into camp with these two kids.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great class, and obviously we appreciate you coming over and spending a couple minutes with us. It's been a busy time, only going to get busier. No off season anymore.
Well, with everything kind of running together, I don't know if it's off season, in season. We just excited to be here. We're really excited to get this next class going, and it's going to be fun.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks a lot to Coach Tim Glanton coming over, spending some time with us. And now we're going to have an opportunity to visit with the esteemed athletic director here at Kennesaw State, as Milton Overton, a guy who played a little offensive line himself way back. I shouldn't say way back in the day, but back in the day. Going to jump in with us for a few minutes. Milton, first of all, it's great to have you with us. This is a great event and obviously a great class. Now that I've overused the word great, it's one of those situations, it's kind of unbelievable that here we sit on the cusp of the 5th year and you're defending 2 straight conference titles, and now you got a really talented and dynamic class in the fold.
No question. Well, the first thing I want to do is just congratulate our coaches. I mean, a lot of times folks don't realize, the amount of intensity, the amount of time, effort that it takes to identify, student athletes that fit within your culture. And that's one of the things that Coach Bo does a great job of making sure that, the people that are coming in, our student athletes coming in, are going to fit the out standard, that gold standard we all talk about. And, I had an opportunity to spend some time, during the recruiting process, and we've got some great kids coming in. And I am so proud of them and so happy for their opportunities to be a part of the out program.
Well, you went through this as a student athlete. What is this recruiting program opportunity like for you? What was it like for you, and what is it like for these young men who are getting a chance to really start a new chapter in their lives at college as a student athlete?
Well, I mean, the opportunity is, that's what America's all about, right? I mean, we just had, obviously, our inaugural banquet, and, standing there on the podium were 7 first-generation college students.
Yeah.
You know, that's what college sports is all about. It's giving student athletes, I shouldn't say giving, because these kids work really hard.
No doubt.
I mean, so they earn the right to have an opportunity to be a part of this program. But you know, the sky's the limit for their future, right? You know, there are no limits now for them because they will leave here because of the great work that our coaches put in with a degree, you know, and an opportunity to be leaders in life. So I am so happy and ecstatic for that opportunity. It's a great process, and our coaches do a fantastic job, like I said, identifying the right kids to be a part of our program.
And I'll piggyback on that. At the banquet, we saw a lot of the players saying their next step is going to be finding a way to mentor young kids or young athletes that may be coming into the college fold or high school athlete fold. It's very, very cool to hear those young men becoming mentored and coaches themselves.
Well, doesn't that make you feel good? That,
Sure does.
You know, the kids are not just focused on themselves.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays and age, they're actually thinking about how can I help somebody else. And the vast majority of our team, they operate and behave the exact same way. You know, they're good men of character. You know, and they've had some great coaches, not just on the field, but our coaches, they actually help mentor these kids to the extent that they leave here better men and with high character than when they came.
Can't ask better than that.
You look back to when you were recruited by Oklahoma and various other schools, how much recruiting has evolved. I mean, in the digital and the internet age with the advent of Huddle and some of these services, it's a lot easier to go and research a kid than it used to be. You'd send scouts and have to have bare eyes on guys, and now you can get a really good look at a lot of players.
Yeah, almost to the extent that there's information overload, you know, a little bit. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's still the same thing. You got to build those relationships with the families, build those relationships with the high school coaches, build those relationships within the community to have an opportunity to work with these kids and get them in. And our coaches have done that. Over the last 4 years, there's been a lot of hard work. So, again, I congratulate Coach Bohannon, our fantastic coaching staff, you know, for the work that they've done. It's a labor, but it's a labor of love for them. And so I really appreciate the opportunity of working with them and being part of it.
National Signing Day is presented by Fifth Third Bank here at Kennesaw State University. Milton, congratulations on the accomplishments of the athletic program. Obviously today we're focused on football, but a great class coming in, and really kind of you to come over and hang out with us for a few minutes as we celebrate and expose this class to Owl Nation.
One quick thing, we've got some folks here in the audience that you don't see. The program doesn't exist without great supporters.
Right.
And we've got some folks sitting here in the audience, part of the Coaches Club, our donors, supporters, sponsors, that without them and without our alumni, there's no Owl football program. So we always want to start there and end there and thank them for being a part of it.
Well, I know that in the community, there's a lot of people who want to be a part of this. How can they get involved if they want to be a donor or just a supporter of this football program?
Well, just, you know, go to KSUOwls.com and just look up our numbers, you know, call myself. Just call the Owl program. We'll return your call, and we want you to be a part of the program. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of this? I mean, everyone wants to be a part of success. And, you know, it's like buying stock. This is the time to buy stock at KSU. And I'll finish up with this. We got the best leader that we could ever have, you know, in President Whitten.
No doubt.
So we're excited about her. And she, if you ever watch, she throws a pretty tight spiral hot dog to students during the game. So we're looking forward to
and does she
to
have the quick release?
She really does. But I appreciate the work that you guys are doing as well as our staff, you know, who's running this production. It takes a big family to support not only the incoming kids coming in, but our program of student athletes that are here. So.
Great points all, Milton. Thank you very much for coming over and spending some time with us. And we'll continue this process now as we go back to the podium where wide receivers coach O.C. Buchanan is standing by to move things along. O.C.?
Good morning, Owl Nation. My name is O.C. Buchanan. I coach the wide receivers. I have the honor and privilege to introduce Treyvion Lattimore, a 6'1", 200-pound wide receiver. Treyvion comes to Kennesaw from Madison County High School in Danielsville, Georgia. He was a dominant force on both sides of the ball during his career as a Bulldog. Treyvion finished his career with 62 catches for over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. He also rushed for 640 yards and 13 touchdowns in his career. This past season, he was named to the 2018 GHSA Region 8 3A All-Region team. Treyvion plans to major in sports management as he continues his education here at Kennesaw State. Please welcome Treyvion. Next up, we have Preston Daniels, a 5'11", 225-pound running back. Preston joins the Nest after an amazing career at Washington County High School in Sandersville, Georgia. Preston was a 4-year starter and named a team captain as a senior. He is a 2-time Region III AA Defensive Player of the Year and has earned back-to-back first-team All-State honors as well as honorable mention All-State honors as a sophomore. As a senior, Preston led the Golden Hawks to a 10-3 record and a quarterfinal appearance in the state playoffs. Overall, he led the Golden Hawks to 4 straight playoff appearances, finished his career as one of the top players in Middle Georgia. Please join me in welcoming Preston to the Nest.
All right, Nathan, so another wide receiver, and that's, we talked about guys that had moved on. That's another group where you really have some questions anyway as to who's going to lead and who's going to take on prominent roles as Coach Buchanan comes over to sit down with us now and spend some time talking about these two players and about the state of things. First of all, Osi, it's great to have you with us. And I guess, as a wide receiver coach, we start with Treyvion Lattimore. You do graduate a Justin Sumter. You do graduate a Xavier Harper. So there go your 2 starters. What are your thoughts on this group coming in, and might there be an immediate impact from a guy like Lattimore?
Well, Treyvion definitely is a type of kid that can have an impact. He did a great job in high school having explosive plays and doing great things for his team. So I really look forward to seeing what he has when he joins the Nest, when he gets here on campus.
Preston Daniels is another player that you highlighted, listed as a running back. You see his size, 5'11", 225. You can see a B-back guy in that size. But defensive player of the year, so a very versatile athlete.
Yeah, Preston, he's one of those players, every time you're out on the road, you talk to different coaches that he's played against, and he's the first guy they bring up, Preston. That guy can play any position on the field. They always say, you guys got a great guy in him. He can play defense. He can run the ball. It's just a matter of a fit, where he's going to fit, and he's going to be able to do great things for us.
The intangible, when you guys go to recruit receivers, and we talked a little bit about this with quarterbacks and linemen, you've got some form of adjustment to a degree because so much of the assignment is going to be blocking.
And blocking is one of the things that Treyvion showed in all his games, watching him play on all his films. He's just a big physical guy, and he's also a guy that you can depend on to make a big play. And he's going to be a guy that can clear the way blocking as well.
Again, you've recruited 2 Georgia products, and the state seems to be a really great recruiting pool for a university like Kennesaw State to stay in state and draw these guys in. How important is it, again, to recruit the state?
I mean, it's definitely important to recruit your home state. You got guys that are going to stay in state. They're able to have their families at their games and different things like that and play in front of people that they've had watched them their entire career, so it's easy for them to have access to watch their games and things like that.
Well, Osi, congratulations on a great class, as we've said to everybody, and obviously a lot of hard work all the time in college football anymore. It's like we were talking about with Milton a moment. There is no off season. Coach Glanton as well. But thanks for coming over and spending some time with us, and we'll move the program right along here.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, and we go back to the podium now where offensive line assistant Stewart Cook is standing by. Stewart?
I'm Stewart Cook. I coach the offensive tackles and tight ends. Today I've got the honor of introducing you to 2 more members of the Owls offensive line today. First up is Jake Lassiter, an offensive tackle. He's 6'1", 240 pounds. Jake comes to Kennesaw State by way of Coffeyville Community College in Coffeyville, Kansas. Jake was a Broward County academic and athletic all-star in high school before joining the Owls of Florida Atlantic University. After a brief stint at FAU, Jake transferred to Coffeyville Community College, where he played tight end for the Red Ravens. Throughout Jake's short career, he has played several positions across the offensive line as well as tight end. Jake's versatility and athleticism will certainly make an impact at the tackle position for our offensive line. He is the son of Rick and Michelle Lassiter, and he plans to major in sports management. Please welcome Jake Lassiter. The next big boy I get to introduce you to, Jeremiah Polo. Jeremiah is an offensive lineman. He's 6'1", 290 pounds, and he comes from Long Beach City College in Los Angeles, California. Joining his Long Beach City College teammate Jonathan Murphy is offensive lineman Jeremiah Polo. This past season, Jeremiah dominated the offensive line of scrimmage for the Vikings. He is the first offensive lineman to earn LBCC's Offensive Player of the Year award and was in consideration for Player of the Year in the National Northern Conference. He started 2 years for Coach Brent Peabody and helped them earn 13 wins during his time as a starter. In high school, Jeremiah was a 4-year letter winner at Lakewood High School, being named Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. He also recently was inducted into the Lakewood Hall of Fame. We look forward to getting Jeremiah on campus and can't wait to see the impact that he's going to make for the Kennesaw State Owls. Thank you.
All right, so a couple of offensive linemen joining the fold, and we've talked a lot about that already, Nathan, as Coach Cook makes his way over to spend some time with us here for a couple of moments. But Jeremiah Polo's an interesting guy, and, of course, you know, as Coach Cook alluded to, you get the quarterback and the lineman kind of together, so you got a little bit of continuity, Stewart, as you bring these guys into the fold.
Absolutely. We're very fortunate to get both of those guys, especially from California, you know. We're excited about both of them. Both of them are tremendous fits, you know, from everything from a program standpoint that we look for. We think that both of those guys will be a seamless transition into who we are and the culture that we have established here.
Both these players had spent time in other programs, around other programs, FAU and Long Beach City College. What is it like having, or what's the difference of a high school guy coming in not understanding what the speed of the game or the expectation of a student athlete at the college level versus someone who has been there already and is coming into a new situation?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that helps them. It gets them caught up a little bit quicker, gives them opportunity to play faster, obviously. You know, the big thing is that, like you said, the speed of the game. That's the biggest difference that from high school to college is how fast things happen. Both these guys are fortunate enough to have had the opportunity to be around college football a little bit. They've got experience, so it should help them. It should help us.
Coach Chestnut alluded to it when we had him up here with us a little bit earlier. You know, the fact that you move 6 guys on creates immediate opportunity. So not only do you have transfers that are going to bring some experience, but you also create great competition among the guys you have on the roster already. There's going to be some fights for those line positions as starters.
That's right. That's right. You mentioned it. We moved 6 on. You know, every day should be a battle. Every person that comes in here is fully capable of playing and starting, and that's what makes us better. You know, competition drives us, and as long as our guys will go compete and you know, battle each other out for every spot, then it gives us a chance to continue what we've been able to do so far.
You got to be a special kind of athlete to be able to fit in this offense and know you're going to be moving as an offensive lineman. What are some of the things that these guys bring to the table that you know will fit in the spread option style offense?
They're extremely athletic. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at their film and you can see they all move very well. You know, we tell kids all the time we want speed. It's not just on the offense. It's not just in skill positions. Our linemen, they need to be able to run too. We ask them to get through levels. We ask them to block people downfield. So we want them just as athletic as the skill kids.
Sure.
You know, we want them to be able to run around, play hard, snap the whistle, and go mix it up.
Well, Stewart, thanks for coming over and spending some time with us. Obviously,
Absolutely.
like we echoed and have said to all the others, congrats on a great class and continued success. We'll see you. Spring ball is right around the corner.
That's right. Can't wait.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, back to the podium and the guy who started it all, Liam Cline. Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And what an awesome display of talent so far this morning. We're really excited about this class. Before I get into Alex, I do want to know that all the faxes that we were expecting today have all come in. So we're really excited about that. That's great news. And we'll be releasing those names here in just a little bit. The next young man that I would like to introduce is Alexander Filiz. Alex is a 6'1", 290-pound offensive lineman from ASA Junior College in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Alex started at left guard the past 2 seasons for the Silver Storm. He helped the team earn 8 wins in 2 seasons, even though they played a shortened schedule. Alex originally attended Northern Michigan University out of Chaminade Madonna High School in Hollywood, Florida. In his time in high school, Alex earned first-team All-Broward County by the Miami Herald and went to 4 straight playoff appearances in his time with the Lions. We are really, really excited about Alex and can't wait till he gets here this summer. Alexander Filiz. The next signee is someone that signed back in December, and this young man's name is Jeremy Dees from Hillcrest High School in Evergreen, Alabama. Jeremy's a really, really explosive defensive lineman. He is accustomed to winning. Jeremy went 36-19 in his 4 years in high school while making deep postseason runs each year. The 4-year starter led the Jaguars to a state championship in 2017 and an Elite Eight finish in his senior campaign. He was named to the All-State team as a junior and as a senior. As a senior, he led the teams in tackles and sacks while being named MVP and team captain. With his combination of size and athleticism, Dees should be a dominant force for us over the next few years. He was, like I said earlier, he signed in December, and we're really, really excited about Jeremy Dees.
All right, Coach Cline will make his way over to spend a couple minutes with us. But, Nathan, you know, there's been a real focus on the trenches, understandably. We've talked a lot about the offensive line, but you also lost a couple of key defensive guys along the front. Yeah,
with injuries, you always want to have that depth, and just adding a defensive lineman like Jeremy Dees is going to be big, 6'1", 225 out of Evergreen, Alabama. Big kid, looks very athletic as well.
Now, you're the first guy to have a couple of turns here this morning, Liam. It's great to have you over here with us. And like Nathan and I just talked about, a real focus on the trenches in this year's class.
Yes, we certainly always need to find linemen on both sides of the ball. That's something that we really take a look for every single year when we recruit. Obviously, big men that are athletic are tough to find, and we're really, really fortunate about these guys that we signed this year.
The offensive lineman, Alexander Filiz, a junior college transfer, big guy. He's got experience at the college level. What do you expect out of this young man? You know, Alex is a really mature young man. Obviously has been through he's what they call a 4.24. He enrolled at Northern Michigan University. Then he went back home, had some stuff to take care of at home, and transferred to ASA Miami. And when we were looking for some older linemen to help come in and help with our depth, you know, his film came across my desk. I took a look at it, and he stood out the minute we watched it. And like I said, we're expecting him to come on in and compete for playing time.
Great. Yeah, as much as we've talked about losing guys that were kind of leaders on the offensive front, losing a Mackenzie Billingsley and the like, you know, you're also looking for guys that are going to step up and lead somewhat. And you do return a DJ and some others, but you're going to look for guys that can step up and lead on the defensive front as well.
Well, I think every year, like I said, we're trying to find the most athletic guys we can on the defensive line. And certainly Jeremy is a young man that stood out the minute we watched his film. If you were to look at his huddle film, I believe the first 3 or 4 clips are him going down on kickoff and being the first one down the field making a tackle at 250-plus pounds. You don't see that every day. So when we saw that, we knew we had something, and we're excited about him coming in and helping our team out.
Anytime you have a player that can play special teams, that's sometimes where these guys break into the team and kind of earn their stripes a little bit.
Yes, we've never had an interior D lineman, one of my guys, help out on special teams on kickoff return. Maybe that'll change a little bit when he gets here.
Well, Liam, thanks so much for coming over and spending some time with us. You've already done double duty here, but you are the recruiting coordinator, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I asked if anyone wanted to go 2 or 3 times and no hands were raised, so I just figured I'll take care of it.
Unbelievable.
That's leadership right there.
Right,
that's
no
what
doubt.
that is. Let's take a look now at some highlights from the past 2018 season from Kennesaw State football.
But here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. It's about the gold standard. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys on offense, defense, special teams, scout teams. It doesn't really matter to play to our standard because we're all working for a common goal, and that's to play to the standard of this program. They need to understand who we are and what we're about. You gotta play the game. You gotta breathe it. You gotta feel it. Let's get ready to go.
face crushed up, I can see it. Diamonds in the face crushed up, I can see it. Diamonds in the face crushed up, I can see it. Diamonds in the face crushed up, I can see it. Diamonds in the face, diamonds in the face. Bust down my Swiss, watch them throw it off. I just joined the big league, Lonzo. Pink diamonds popping out, cotton ball. I got something to say to the pigs. Yeah, I just got an M for a gig. Yeah, I just blow the M on my kids. Yeah, far as in the driveway, you can see it. Yeah, meet me in Hublot, we going big. Yeah, a plain Jane, get it remixed. Yeah, diamonds in the face crushed up, you can see it. Diamonds in the face crushed up, I can see it. Diamonds in the face crushed up, I can see it. Diamonds in the face crushed up, I can see it. Diamonds in the face, diamonds in the face. Diamonds crushed up, diamonds in the face. Diamonds in the face.
Oh yeah, give me a big sound, man. Get to it.
I can see it. Crushed up. Diamonds crushed up, diamonds in the face crushed up, you can see it.
All right, Nathan, we look back at a lot of great moments from the 2018 season, but of course today is now all about 2019 and 2020 and what lies ahead for Kennesaw State football. And I think what we've seen so far is the future appears to be pretty bright.
Well, and then you talk about the kind of athletes. You're hearing three-star athletes time and time again, and some of these JUCO players who probably didn't look at Kennesaw State 3 or 4 years ago, they are now because of the expectation of this program and really the winning that's happened here over the last couple of years.
Well, we're getting ready to go back to the podium now, and a guy we're going to hear from for the first time. It's the Owls' new defensive coordinator, Blake Harrell. Blake, welcome to Kennesaw State, and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate that. Blake Harrell, new defense coordinator, linebackers coach. This morning I have the opportunity or the privilege to introduce two guys on our back end that's going to help us out, both mid-year enrollees. The first guy is Darius Safford. He's a defensive back from Dodge City Community College. He's a 5'11", 175-pound athletic safety. He recorded 43 tackles, 4.5 tackles for a loss, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble this past season. He's a native of Newnan, Georgia. Darius attended Newnan High School, earned first-team All-Region accolades twice, gathering first-team All-Metro, first-team All-Coweta County honors. Defensively in high school, he racked up 75 tackles, 8 picks, 6 pass breakups, earning a 3-star ranking according to 247 Sports. Darius will be the second player in our program history from Newnan High School, following all Big South defensive end, Tenarius Portress. We cannot wait to see what he can do wearing the black and gold. Please join me in welcoming Darius Safford. Our next signee was a teammate of Darius Safford and our second player from Dodge City Community College. Darius Miller is a 5'10", 190-pound defensive back that plays with great ball skills and brings physical tackling from the back end. He totaled 20 tackles and 8 solo stops, 4 picks, and returned kicks and punts throughout this past season. A native of Cohota, Georgia, Darius attended Cohota Creek High School, started 3 years and played running back, wide receiver, safety, corner, and return kicks. He was on the inaugural team at Cohota Creek and enrolled here at KSU this semester. Please welcome Darius Miller.
All right, so the Owls' defensive backfield gets deeper with the addition of these two, Nathan, as Coach Harrell comes over to sit down with us for a couple of minutes. First opportunity we will have had to visit with Coach Harrell. First of all, welcome to Kennesaw State, and obviously we read up on you. We kind of know your background. Doesn't sound like much is going to change. An aggressive, hungry, ball-hawking defense, huh?
No, I think that's exactly what we want to do is play fast, play physical, and you turn on the film from what they've done for the last several years, and that's exactly what you see on film.
Well, they didn't do you any favors. You had a Kadarius and a Darius, both from Dodge City, the Conquistadors. What was it like recruiting these young men?
You know, they were actually both here when I first got here, so, you know, it's just a privilege to have them on campus. They seem to be fitting in the program really well and working their tails off. And the fact that they're going to fit some back-end needs, you know, Jace White departed and graduated, and the fact they're here this spring to compete for those positions is going to help us out.
Let's talk a little bit about you now. You come over from the Citadel, so obviously the FCS level, you're no stranger to that. Coordinated some really solid defenses there. Schematically, this is very similar to what you've already coordinated yourself. What are your thoughts on the opportunity here and the amount of talent you inherit?
You know, it's a great situation. You're walking into a team that was a top defense in FCS and only lost a couple starters, and so big shoes to fill, but excited about the opportunity and excited about, you know, the spring ball getting started.
Being from Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, that's you're familiar with Southeast football. It doesn't get any better than this. It's nice. Got to be nice to be stay in the Southeast and be close to home.
Yeah, it's nice to just kind of stay in the Southeast, and recruited Georgia, I think, for the past 12 seasons. Kind of glad to be here in the state of Georgia, and it's felt like a lot like home.
Well, we are very glad to welcome you here, and obviously we look forward to big things from this defense. We've seen them for 4 years. There's really a lineage of defensive backs that have come through here and moved on. It's been a strength of that defense, and we look forward to seeing what you're going to be able to do with a very talented group. Thanks for coming over and spending some time with us.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, so as we move along, thanks again, Coach, to another new member of the defensive coaching staff. Let's all welcome Rico Zachary to the podium.
Thank you for the welcome. My name is Rico Zachary. I'm going to be coaching the defensive end and the rush guys. I have the privilege to announce two guys for our position here at the defensive end position. First guy, Marquez Baxter. Marquez comes to Kennesaw State from Southwest Macon in Macon, Georgia. Known as Trey by his family, he's a long and extremely athletic rush end in our defense. Marquez stands 6'3", 190 pounds. During his high school career, he recorded 230 tackles, 30 tackles for a loss, 12 sacks, 5 interceptions, 5 fumble recoveries. His senior year, he was selected as an all-region player at both defensive back and linebacker. Marquez is an extremely coachable and hardworking player who has a high ceiling on and off the field. We are very excited to have Marquez, also known as Trey, in the Kennesaw State family. The next player that I'm going to get a chance to introduce, Joelle Parker from Pinson Valley High School in Birmingham, Alabama. We're certainly excited to announce our next owl, Joelle Parker, from the state champion, Pinson Valley High School. Named the Truceville Tribune first-team all-defense player, Joel is a two-time state champion, having earned his rings in 2017 and 2018. In 2017, he led the state of Alabama in sacks, and this past year, he was named a two-star recruit by 24/7. Joel is our second player from Pinson Valley, joining defensive lineman Desmond Scott. Joel brings a natural pass rush to the Owls and is a strong physical and athletic defensive end. We look forward to Joel bringing some effort, attitude, and toughness to the defense in the years to come. Please welcome Joelle Parker.
All right, Nathan, a couple of defensive ends joining the fold, and yet another position of strength. Now, in this case, you return two guys who had very, very good years. Of course, we know all about Desmond Johnson, who's had a great career here and going to be an anchor once again. And we get Coach Zachary in here with us. We're going to look forward to that for the first time also. But, you know, between Desmond Johnson and, of course, also Andrew Butcher, you really have a little bit like we talked about with Coach Harrell, Rico. You kind of inherit a couple of really talented frontline guys, and you've just added some solid depth behind those guys, and you already had some.
Yeah, these guys are obviously, you know, very, very good players, very good, you know, very good students of the game. And, you know, we're very excited about those two guys. And we're also excited about these young guys coming in to provide us some depth. Sorry about my voice, guys.
No, that's the coach's voice, right? Coach Carizzi's kind of set that standard around here for that kind of coach's voice. But Joelle Parker, two-time state champion. I've heard coaches say you bring in state champions, they already have the mindset of a winner.
Yeah, those guys, it's always good recruiting guys that know how to win, when you're trying to, build a program and take a program to the next level, and it's something that doesn't have to be taught. You can spend your time on other things with those types of guys, but we're very excited about Joelle.
Like we talked about with Coach Harrell, the defensive back being kind of a very strong historically, and I say historically relative terms, it's only the 5th year coming up. Defensive end has really been kind of the same thing in this program thus far between the TPs of the world. We talked about DJ, Butcher, and some others. So it's really a position of strength, and you're just going to be continuing a tradition there.
Well, this area, this state, and this area that we're able to recruit, they obviously put out some well-coached players. I mean, we're in the area now to where, I'm a long-time high school coach, and these guys are just getting better. They are getting coached well, and by the time they get to us, it makes our job a lot easier.
So you played defensive back at Georgia Southern. You spent the last couple of years at Villa Rica High School. You know the state of Georgia. You're familiar with it. How comfortable are you going to be stepping into the role of going to some of these schools and recruiting? And you got to know some of these high school coaches now going to be look at you, kind of get their athletes an opportunity.
Yeah, I think recruiting is all about relationships, and I have a lot of relationships with these guys in this area. So, I kind of touched on it a little bit right before signing day, and obviously, like I said, we had a lot of good relationships with some of these guys, and they're very excited about, the things that we have going on at Kennesaw State, so they're very open and, receptive to us.
Well, Rico, congratulations on the great class. Obviously, welcome to Kennesaw State, and you already got your Coach K voice going, so things are off to a great start.
Yeah, they're definitely off to a great start. We had morning runs yesterday, and I think I might have overdid it a little bit, but it's all good, and I love what I'm doing, so. Thank you, guys.
All right, Rico Zachary spending some time with us here. And we go back now to the podium, and it'll be round 2 for the esteemed offensive coordinator, Grant Chestnut. Grant.
Hey, excited to be back with you guys to announce 2 more of the signees who will be joining our Owl family this morning. Very excited about these 2 young men. First, we have Jack Chavis. Jack is coming to us from Holmes Community College in Mississippi. Where he played the past 2 seasons under head coach Jeff Coons. Jack earned All-Region 23 honors and All-State honorable mention in 2018. In his career, he helped lead the Bulldogs to 11 wins during the last 2 seasons and paved the way on the offensive line as the Bulldogs rushed for 261.1 yards per game. Jack was the recipient of the Rash Branch Award given to the student athlete that excels on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. During his senior year at Prentice Christian High School, he helped lead the Saints to a 10-2 record and a quarterfinal berth in the 2016 state playoffs. Jack enrolled last month, and we cannot wait to see him pave the way this spring. Jack Chavis. Next, we have a dynamic running back from right here in our backyard in Cherokee County. Excited to have this young man, Cade Radham. Cade is a physical 6', 205-pound running back from Creekview High School in Canton, Georgia. This past season, he led his team to the best season in school history. The Grizzlies finished with a 12-1 record, the Region 6 championship, and the school's first appearance in the state quarterfinals. Cade had an outstanding senior campaign, rushing for over 2,000 yards and 24 TDs. Some of his most notable honors are first-team All-State, Region 6 Offensive Player of the Year, and the Class 6A Co-Offensive Player of the Year. Cade plans on majoring in physical education while studying here at Kennesaw State. His dad is his biggest role model. His favorite NFL team is the Carolina Panthers, and we cannot wait to see him carrying the football in the black and gold.
All right, Nathan, as Coach Chestnut makes his way over to join us for the second time today, and we'll check with Grant Chestnut on this, but it was all over social media when this one was announced back on the early signing day. He looks to have, Radham, that is, a little bit of Jake McKenzie, and he even has the same number.
Well, I know Jake appreciates that. Cade is an outstanding young man and obviously an outstanding football player. And we were discussing this earlier when I was visiting with you guys, prioritizing Georgia recruits, but also prioritizing our home counties right here around us, you know, with Cobb County and Paulding and Cherokee and Metro Atlanta in general. But so we're really excited to have a Creekview Grizzly coming to play for us with Cade. Outstanding player, and as I said a moment ago, an outstanding young man.
Well, you mentioned recruiting the state, but because of the location of Kennesaw State, being 20 miles north of Atlanta,
Right.
with the recruiting pool that's around here, it's got to be an advantage when you have Canton and Paulding and Cobb and all these schools around here that have sent high five-star athletes out to other colleges, but there's so many others left here, and it's essentially located. And we saw with Bryson Armstrong, whose father's at every game, big support from the family in the stands when these kids hit the field.
Well, it's a great mix. You know, the campus in and of itself is an easy sell.
Right.
You know, I mean, if we can get a young man and his family on our campus, Kennesaw State pops. You know, from our housing to our dining facility, just the whole 9 yards. So, you know, it makes sense that these kids, even though they're local,
right.
you know, they want to stay close to home. You know, they get the best of both worlds. They can come to our campus, they can grow, become their own men, so to speak, and their families can still plug in, like you were talking about Bryson, still plug in and come see them play and be a part of that experience of playing Division I college football here in Metro Atlanta.
And Jack Chavis, of course, another guy who, as you rebuild some depth now in the road graders, the guys that are going to open holes for the Cade Radhams of the future in the world coming up.
Absolutely, and as you know, we're heading towards the end of our signing class here, and it's pretty obvious to everyone that we prioritize going out and finding some big athletic guys who could help us replace those 6 guys that we graduated this year. Extremely excited about Jack. He is another solid young man, hard-working, tough guy from Mississippi. Probably the first young man that I've coached personally from the state of Mississippi, and I like the grit that he seems to be bringing to the table right now. Excited to see how he progresses through spring, and just really excited about our entire class.
For a guy like Chavis who comes from the community college level, look at Kennesaw State. You put up 500-plus rushing yards against Tennessee Tech last year. This guy wants to sled it, and there's no doubt that he's going to have an opportunity here.
Absolutely. You know, he is a perfect fit for us. His demeanor, his talents, and we're excited. Yep.
Well, all right. Thanks again for coming over, Grant. Second time, man. You were even better the second time. It just keeps getting better from there.
Well, I always enjoy visiting with you guys.
But an exciting day here at Kennesaw State, and we'll continue the program. Now we're going to welcome a guy whose name we have called a lot over the last 3 seasons in particular, but we called it a little bit that first year of Kennesaw State football as well. As we welcome in now student assistant Chandler Burks onto the microphone. And man, you know, to not see you in the 3 in the helmet is a little bit different, but it's great to have you here. Congratulations on a tremendous career. Some of us felt you should have got that Walter Payton Award, but you were the runner-up for that. Just thrilled for the career you had, and it's great that you're going to be around and be a part of things going forward.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. You know, I'm kind of moving on in life. You're just getting to see what, you know, life is after football, and I was grateful for the opportunity to play here, and now I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a part of the staff and help out the coaching staff that they've given so much to me.
Think back to the day that your fax came in that very first morning. What was that morning like for you, knowing you were going to really be starting the program here at Kennesaw State, that first recruit, not knowing what the future was going to hold, all the awards and accolades, but what was it like that morning?
It was a surreal experience for me. You know, whenever I think back to that opportunity, I was just so grateful and blessed. Coach Bohannon believed in me, and I wanted to make sure I paid that back tenfold. And, you know, I was able to be a part of laying the foundation. I was able to be a part of, you know, creating a legacy and leaving that legacy and being able to look back 20 years from now, tell my kids about being able to be a part of that first inaugural class, and that's something I'll always hold grateful to my heart.
When you look back at it now, you guys had that extremely tough year that you didn't play any games, that entire practice year, compounding things for you personally. You had a knee injury in that sequence somewhere and had to miss some of that time. Was there a point, though, where you guys bonded during that year and you started to get the feeling that, hey, people don't expect anything out of us, but this could be a really special group?
Yeah, when we first came in, there wasn't anything. You know, we were kind of doing everything on our own. There was no older guys. You know, there's a few transfers that came in, but we were just going in there and just kind of letting loose and having fun when we got onto the field. And I'll tell you, in the meeting rooms, it wasn't us really letting loose like we kind of do nowadays. You know, everybody's was kind of really uptight, sitting on their hands a little bit. But, you know, that first year is kind of what was helped laying the foundation. You know, that I think that year is what has allowed us to have the early success that we've had. And, you know, that year was tough. You know, we always talk back and think back to coaches' runs that year. It was 2 weeks straight every single day. Now we only do 6 twice a week for 3 weeks. And we just sit back and think about it, and we're like, man, we were able to do that back in 14, but now in, like, when our last one, I was struggling. I was on the struggle bus. So, you know, it's crazy to look back and see those things that you're able to do, but, you know, it was a fun experience.
So you got a chance to have the football banquet about a week ago and honor those OGs. Talk about the relationships you built and moving forward, the relationships that you will always have with that special 18 group that came in and graduated here.
Yeah, the original gangsters will always you know, be special to my heart and the coaching staff. That banquet, you know, honoring that original class. Nathan, you did a great job. Coach Bo did a great job. And it was a very special moment for all of us. And then being able to walk away with a Letterman jacket, with that big old gold KS, that was even, you know, some added gravy for us. And it was awesome. And, you know, I still stay in touch with all of the OG class. We actually have a group meet with Coach Bohannon of all the OGs, you know, whenever we need to stay in touch, whenever we just want to catch up and, you know, let everybody know what's going on. You know, we created that just to make sure we stay in touch with one another.
You know, we've asked this of coaches as things wound down in 2018. When you look back at it now, are there a couple of things or a couple of highlights that stand out for you that were the most magical moments in that entire thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely in 2018, the one that stands out to me the most is obviously Bryson Armstrong's pick against Jacksonville State, sealing the deal, taking us home. We were all tired. I even think the coaching staff and the fans were tired. You know, 5 overtimes.
We were tired.
Yeah. I know that it'll get you any time, and you know that sticks out to me. The kick by JT against Wofford to seal the deal for us against Wofford and going into the quarterfinals, that sticks out to me. And then obviously Darnell Holland and all his electric runs. Really, you can just count them. I mean, there's so many. Those all stick out to me, and it was a special season building off of 2017, and you know, this 2019 season is going to be even more special, especially with these guys coming in. Me and Jake always, you know, cut up and talk with one another. I wouldn't be sitting here right now because I tell you right now, I wouldn't be recruited here. Yeah. The talent we're getting right now is unbelievable. The coach staff's doing a phenomenal job, and I'm excited for this season.
Well, I can tell you this, that the time that we got to spend with you and Jake and y'all's family and thing, it's very special. We never know what's going to come in, but we're better because we got to be around young men like you who led this program, and it really was an honor, and we're going to miss you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
One last thing now. What do you think you're going to miss the most, or will you not know that until you don't get to put the pads on?
Outside of the game, I'm obviously going to miss those Saturdays, but I'm going to miss the relationships I built. You know, I was able to build a relationship with every single one of my teammates, and that was something I always will hold dear to my heart. I mean, every single one of the guys that have came through this, you know, program is put a special place in my heart. I mean, they are very special to me, and I've created memories that you know, will last a lifetime, and I'm gonna miss that the most. Just continue to build those memories with those guys, you know, day in and day out, because you see them every day. You're building those memories, so I'm gonna miss that the most. But I was grateful for being here for those 5 years.
Congrats on a great career, man. Thanks for coming over and spending some time with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you around here a whole bunch more, we hope.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, the national runner-up for the Walter Payton Award, Chandler Burks, who helped establish a great culture here at Kennesaw State, and a guy who's another new part of that culture is stepping to the podium now. Let's all welcome Darius Safford to the nest. Darius?
Good morning, Owl Nation. Again, I'm Darius Safford. I'll be coaching the cornerbacks for Kennesaw State. The first young man I would like to introduce is Kumari Lewis, a 5'10", 180 defensive back. Kumari, also known as Juicy Lewis, joins Owl Nation from South Georgia powerhouse Colquitt County High School in Moultrie, Georgia. Juicy finished his career with the 33-10 record and reached a state championship game in his last 2 seasons. As a team captain, his leadership and knack for finding the ball highlighted his career as a Packer. He finished with 208 career total tackles, 10 tackles for losses, 5 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 sacks. Competing in the highly regarded, ultra-competitive Region 1 7A, Juicy was named first-team all-region defensive back while also garnering Player of the Week and Academic Player of the Week honors during his senior campaign. Look for Lewis to be a daunting presence in the Owl secondary for years to come. Welcome to the nest, Kumari Juicy Lewis. All right, the next young man I have the honor and privilege to introduce is hot off the press, just came in, had the opportunity to spend the last 2 to 3 weeks with a great recruiter and Coach O.C. Buchanan. It's Dante Justice, defensive back, 5'11", 175 pounds, from Baldwin High School in Gordon, Georgia. Dante was a 3-sport athlete while attending Baldwin High School in Millersville, Georgia. Along with football, he also excelled in baseball and basketball. After an 0-5 start to his senior season, Dante helped guide his team to 7 straight victories, a region championship, and appearance in the quarterfinals of the Georgia State playoffs. He finished the season with 11 interceptions and 8 touchdowns. As a senior, he was named to Region 3 4A Athlete of the Year, honorable mention All-State, and Middle Georgia First Team. Dante will be a great addition to our team. Welcome to the nest, Dante.
All right, Darius Safford, one of the newest members of the defensive staff, Nathan, on his way over here to spend some time with us. And we're going to go back and talk some DBs with Darius as he jumps in here. Going to be a tough act to follow in terms of the plank, Darius, as you have a seat here. The plank's kind of taken on a life of its own. Obviously, welcome to the nest here at Kennesaw State. We had a chance to talk a little bit at the banquet, but exciting times to be an Owl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excited. Extremely grateful and honored to be blessed with this opportunity, first and foremost, to join such an amazing coaching staff and following the footsteps of coaching young men like Chandler Burks, who's leaving, Zach. It's just amazing. You know, it's just amazing in a sense. So I'm excited to join the family. Again, it's going to be a huge task to follow in the footsteps of what the defense did in the past years, but I'm definitely excited.
Now, you're coming from coaching the cornerbacks at Mercer. You're from Douglasville. You played at Georgia, a little bit Georgia Southern in your senior season. You knew about Coach Bohannon, but what did you know about Kennesaw State before coming up here?
There was a lot of buzz that was being created. Positive buzz. It's a place that everyone wanted to be, whether it's a player or coach. Mm-hmm. You can tell at different conventions or interaction with guys all over the state, and even in the southeast region, that Kennesaw State was a place to be. And just the short years, or 4 years, being accustomed to playing football, and what the success they had so far is something that you want to be a part of. Mm-hmm. I think as a player and as an individual, just the success. And continue to sustain that success and even get better. Wow. So that's the word around the street, to say the least.
It's the nature of things in college football when a program has success that coaches are sought after, and, of course, hence the changes defensively here. It's a bit of an oddity, isn't it, when you're recruiting all the time. A big part of being a college football coach is you always have an eye on recruiting, but you shift gears kind of midstream a little bit when you leave at the end of a season that way, and then you move on to another program, and suddenly your focus changes a little bit, because even though you're all about recruiting, suddenly you're all about recruiting at another place. Huh?
Right. And regardless of where I'm at, it's all about building relationships with those young men and ultimately their family, and trying to find that right fit for the place that I'm at the time. Even coming into this deal at Kennesaw State, hitting the ground running recruiting-wise, I actually had a previous encounter with Dante Justice, mm-hmm. or Kumari Lewis, keeping eyes on him based off the success they had in the season. So I think it was a smooth transition, from a recruiting standpoint. But as I mentioned before, it's all about relationships wherever I'm at. And hoping those guys fall in love with the place. Because, as you know, sometimes coaches move on to better their careers, and hopefully young men can come to this place and say, I could be here for 4 to 5 years.
Well, it's going to be a good recruiting class when you have a Juicy in there. And Juicy Lewis seems like a pretty good athlete. What can you tell us about how he's going to fit into the backfield?
He's going to be great in the sense of his ultimate competitive nature. You know, spending time with him this past few months, that's one thing that he really harped on, is just the winning culture. And, of course, down there in Coker County, they do an amazing job. He's playing the 2 state championship games. But the main focus that we had when I had a personal conversation with him is the fact that how he lost and how he can get better. Sure. That's very attractive to me as a coach and as an individual. He knows his mistakes, and he knows where his areas to try to get better at. So I'm excited with that addition because of the mindset of that young man.
As powerful and as successful as the option attack has been here and is at a handful of other schools, it's kind of the nature of college football at a lot of other places in this day and age to run such a wide-open air raid, fun and gun type of thing. How does that change the way that you prepare schematically and as a defensive back, the way the game is played compared to when you were lacing it up yourself?
Well, when I laced it up myself, one of the first spring practice or fall camp practices I had at Georgia Southern, I was one of the guys that got chopped. I got flat on my face, didn't know how to defeat a cut block. Pretty sure Coach Zachary can say the same his time at Georgia Southern as a defensive back. But it's something that you got to adjust to. As a defensive back, you always got to adjust in the game. I think it's one of the hardest positions in college football and football, period. So always adjusting. But ultimately, from a positive standpoint, it's going to make our guys tougher. And again, that's what we built this program on, the culture. The T is in toughness, and having the opportunity to build that on a day-to-day basis going against the offense, that's fine. Now, don't get me wrong, Coach Buchanan and I already have our conversation how we're going to spice up one-on-ones. Okay. I'm pretty sure Coach Worley is going to be all in on that too, so I'm excited. I'm excited just trying to create those guys to be able to compete.
We've already heard the new coaches talk about EAT, effort, attitude, toughness, which has been what Kennesaw State has been about, the culture. How do you transition and you embrace that culture? I mean, it's something that we've been talking about for years. These guys, these athletes, they get it. You know, that's the culture. That's culture going to want to build.
Right. It's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. And again, an honor to be a part of it, and not going to come in half-stepping by no means. Sure. You know how I kind of built my coaching philosophy is on the same principles and culture, being that philosophy. So I'm excited about that. Again, something that I instilled in my young career as a coach. You know, effort is something that those guys can control on their own. You know, same with the attitude. And then I think we do an amazing job with the coaches run and also in the weight room of creating that toughness. Right. So I'm excited. I've already seen the forefront of how things are going to work here, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Darius, congratulations on a great signing class and obviously a brand new opportunity for you. We welcome you to the nest here. We look forward to big things from you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and excited.
Great, Coach.
Can't wait to get started.
Welcome to the nest.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Darius Safford joining us here at the table to talk defensive backs and to give us a little insight on his philosophies and background that he brings to Kennesaw State. Well, you know, it's all about the new here in this part of it. As we go back to another new guy, let's welcome Danny Vermeil to the nest. Danny.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Danny Vermeil. I'm the new safeties coach here at Kennesaw State, and I have the pleasure of introducing 2 young men to our program. The first one is Carrick Reese, a 6'2", 220-pounder from Stockbridge High School in Stockbridge, Georgia. Carrick Reese brings his talents to Kennesaw State after an outstanding career at Stockbridge High School. Carrick has been a dominant edge player for the Tigers over the past 4 years. He has a 3-year starter for the Tigers, a 2-time All-Region 4 5A team member, a 2-time All-Henry County team selection, and was named All-State by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in 2018. While attending Stockbridge, Carrick helped the Tigers again with an impressive overall record of 56-9 with 3 region championships and advanced to the Georgia High School State playoffs all 4 years. Most recently, Carrick was recently named the most valuable defensive player by his coaches and teammates. We are very excited about Carrick's future here as an Owl. All right. Next young man is William Jenkins, a linebacker, 6 foot 200 pounds, out of Cedar Grove High School in Decatur, Georgia. We welcome William Jenkins to the nest after a school in Ellenwood, Georgia. William finished his career with a team record of 51-6. 2 state championships, 4 straight playoff appearances, and 3 region championships. In 2017-2018, he was named a Region 5 3A first-team selection and DeKalb County first-team selection. Off the field, William maintains over a 3.25 GPA and plans to major in sports management. We cannot wait to see this Owl fly around next year.
All right, Danny Vermeil joining us. I think I butchered his name to begin with, but we were joking during the momentary while he was up there talking that Tom Landry once called Gary Hogenboom Gary Hogenbloom, so I can butcher a name every now and then as well. Let's bring Danny in to join us. And first of all, Coach, it's great to have you here. Obviously, you come off a championship, and you come right to a program that has high expectations. It's great to have you here. Congrats on the opportunity.
Well, appreciate it. It's great to be here, and don't worry about the name. No one can get it right. So.
What are your thoughts now? Obviously, you offered some on these two players. What are your thoughts overall on the group that you guys kind of inherit defensively? Obviously, a lot of talent there and a group that's had success.
It's a great situation to walk into. You know, the staff previous has done a great job. We walked into a great recruiting class, and just the culture and the mentality that they've built here. We just got to step in and fill the shoes, and it's a great place to be. And like I said, you see the difference as soon as you walk in here in the weight room. When the kids walk in the building, the type of attitude, the mentality that they have, and really good football players and good men as well. So it's a great opportunity to join this this place right now.
Valdosta State, a program that is really legendary, not only at the high school level, but because of the success that the Blazers have had. What did you know about this program, and what attracted you to come up to Kennesaw State?
Well, I got to Valdosta 3 years ago, and I remember this program was getting started prior, and Coach Bohannon and just the location, and I was down there watching the Jacksonville State game on TV and watching that 5 overtime game, and just all the accolades and everything they've done in such a fast time. It's incredible, really, to see a program skyrocket like that. And if you get a chance to be a part of something legendary, something going, how this place is going, it's something you got to jump all over.
So much of recruiting is based on tangibles, measurables, you know, speed and weightlifting, and then technique when you watch them play. But how much emphasis is there on the intangibles? I mean, coming from a winning program, you can't really put a price on that, can you? There's a culture of winning, and then you obviously are looking for guys to add to a culture of winning here.
Well, I think, you know, the coaching staff has done a great job. We walked into a great situation. They already had 19 guys signed, so it was kind of easy when we stepped in. But recruiting guys, you know, everyone gets caught up in these Nike Combine guys and how far they can throw a ball. But you want to recruit winners and guys who are going to be successful in your program. And like I say, we want to recruit some dogs. And they've done a good job recruiting that here. And it takes the right type of person to be the right type of fit here for this program that Coach Bohannon has built here.
Well, it looks like you got a couple big dogs in Carrick Reese and William Jenkins, defensive lineman for Reese and linebacker for Jenkins. What can you tell us about how these guys are going to fit into this program?
Just watching them and getting a chance to meet them on the official visits, man, they're very, very talented players. They come from really good high school programs. Their expectation levels are high, and they just bring more speed, size, and length to the table. And like every year, you know, they said that just the recruiting class keeps getting bigger, faster, stronger. But the main things can't change. You know, the effort, attitude, toughness component that they've built the foundation of this program on, that's the key, and I think they'll fit in well here.
Great. Danny, again, congrats on a new opportunity for you. We really appreciate you coming over and spending some time with us, and we look forward to seeing you at spring ball. It's really not that far off.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, so we got to figure it out and get it rolling. I'm excited about the opportunity to be here.
No doubt.
All right, the top-notch video staff here at Kennesaw State has prepared this for you as we've talked to all these new coaches. Check this out.
I'm Blake Harrell, defense coordinator, linebackers coach, Kennesaw State University. I'm from Franklin, North Carolina. It's up in the western part of the state, mountains of North Carolina, small hometown. I went to school at Western Carolina University, close to home there up in West North Carolina. Our coaching philosophy, you know, always has been, first we got to have a relationship with the kids, and we want to create a lot of energy, a lot of passion. And that's the same way I'm going to coach, you know, is an environment with passion, with energy. How we do the little things is how we do everything. The opportunity to come to Kennesaw State was a special opportunity to work for Coach Bohannon, this coaching staff. I knew 3 things. I knew that not only they're going to push me to be a better coach, they're going to push me to be a better dad and a better husband, and that was very important to me, and along with the opportunity to win a national championship. When you look at the Kennesaw State defense this year, you should see the most physical, most excited team. If one of us make a play, we all make a play. Guys are going to play fast, run the ball, know their assignments, and play with extreme discipline. I'm Blake Harrell, and welcome to the Eat Zone.
Hi, my name is Danny Vermeil. I'm the safeties coach here at Kennesaw State University. I'm from Merritt Island, Florida. Played football at Merritt Island High School. Went to college and played safety at the University of South Florida in Tampa. I coach because I have respect for the game. The game of football can teach so many life lessons. I also coach to help develop young men to be successful human beings in the world today. Prior to Kennesaw State, I was at Valdosta State University. Getting a chance to come work with the staff here, live in this great city, be around these people in an upcoming program that's skyrocketing is the reason why I'm here. My coaching philosophy and style is energetic, it's intense, it's passionate. I like to be a communicator, a teacher, so I can explain things, but I'm very passionate about what I do. Why should someone come to Kennesaw State? Why not? Win championships, live in a great city, get a great education, be around great people. Tell me why not. I'm Danny Vermeil, and welcome to the Eat Zone.
I'm Darius Safford, and I'm the cornerbacks coach at Kennesaw State University. I was born in Brewton, Alabama, small town in South Alabama, south part of the state. Moved to Douglasville, Georgia at the age of 7. You're not playing this game to win, to better yourself as men, to surround yourself with a coaching staff that I think Kennesaw State has to offer. That's the biggest deal. That's the biggest attraction for Kennesaw State. Aside from everything, you know, from this campus lifestyle, beautiful Kennesaw community, Atlanta being 20, 25 minutes away, I think Kennesaw State has the best of both worlds from an academic standpoint, also football standpoint. It's all about what happens after football, teaching these guys how to be men off the field. That's my key, my foremost. And once that happens, I think everything else will fall in line. Once those guys to have a great relationship with you and learn how to play for you, that's when you get the best out of the individual. I'm Darius Safford, and welcome to the Eat Zone.
I'm Rico Zachary, assistant football coach at Kennesaw State. I'll be coaching the defensive ends. I'm from Newnan, Georgia. Played high school football at Newnan High School and played college football at Georgia Southern from 2002 to 2007. I'm looking for guys that fit the program, that fit the culture, of guys that have unbelievable attitude, unbelievable toughness, guys that, you know, will fit in with the players that we have here. With the success that Kennesaw's had on and off the field, I think that it's a no-brainer for anybody to come to Kennesaw State. Great education, first of all, because, you know, that's the most important thing. The family atmosphere, and then the level of football that Kennesaw State plays. It's a championship level, and, you know, a lot of people want to be a part of a championship program. I'm Rico Zachary. Welcome to the Eat Zone.
National Signing Day here at Kennesaw State, presented by Fifth Third Bank. And we go back to the podium for a guy who spent some time up there and spent some time over here. Let's go back to Liam Cline, the Owls defensive line coach and recruiting coordinator. Liam?
Thank you, gentlemen. I have the privilege to announce our last signee for the 2019 Nest 19 class, and that would be a big man out of Arabian Mountain High School here in Georgia, Dmytryk Barnes. Dmytryk joins the Owls after playing football the past 2 seasons at Arabian Mountain and Stone Mountain, Georgia. In those 2 seasons, Dmytryk helped guide his team to 16 wins and 2 playoff appearances. His senior season, he earned Region 5 first-team honors and was named team captain by his teammates. Dmytryk also plays multiple instruments in the marching band and is a member of the track team as a shot put thrower. Please welcome Dmytryk Barnes.
Oh, another talented addition. Boy, in a lot of areas, too, playing in the band, all kinds of things going on there. As Liam Cline comes back over, this is another exciting signing, Liam. And, you know, as a defensive coach, as you are, and a recruiting coordinator, let's talk a little bit about Dmytryk first.
Dmytryk is a really, really talented young man. If you look at his career, he played football freshman year. Then he didn't play as a sophomore. He actually was in the band. He was probably the biggest band member out there. And then decided to come back out onto the field when he went to Arabian Mountain High School. And he's a young man that we had in camp in the summertime. He is just an unbelievable mix of great character and has a lot of potential. He's a really, really big human being when you see him. And we're excited to see what he can do when he gets here.
Well, he's certainly versatile, and if you need a tuba or trumpet player, he's clearly going to be able to pick it up and go for it.
That is correct.
Or a shot put. You know, you never know what's going to happen there. But you got to love these athletes who I mean, the IQ it takes to be a musician and then to transition to football and transition to an Olympic sport like shot putting. That takes a great amount of effort, but the IQ and to do all that stuff has got to be a potential that you just don't see in a lot of young men.
No, you really don't. You know, his resume is certainly different from a lot of young men that we've recruited over the years here or that I've recruited in my time. But when Coach Buchanan, who recruited him, brought him forward and talked a little bit about him, and then when we got to know the young man and his family, we knew right away that he was going to be a great fit here.
Cool.
You know, there aren't too many guys in the history that have ever played both ways and marched at halftime. You might have a guy who's at least capable of it, but I know that's not going to happen here.
No, I don't think that'll happen. I think we'll keep the pads on him at halftime, and hopefully he'll be helping us on Saturdays here in the future.
Just an overview of this class, Liam. You know, it's exciting to sit here. I know there's still some possibilities out there of guys that will transfer. You still got some pending stuff going on, but really, really well done. An impressive class to this point, and might only get better.
You know, each year the classes we've signed have been more athletic and just really, really talented. And the guys on this staff, the coaches here, they do such a tremendous job recruiting. They really build great relationships with these young men. Coach Bohannon has really outlined a really great recruiting plan on how we're going to go find the young men that come play here. And each year, as you guys have seen, you've been around the program, it keeps getting better and better. And this class especially, we really can't wait to see what they can do when they get here.
Now, some of these guys enrolled early. Some of them have yet to come on campus. What is the next step for these football players here at Kennesaw State?
For the young men that have not enrolled yet, which is the majority of the class, you know, they have a bunch of steps, they have to do for the school so they can be admitted. They have to get their housing filled out. They have to, do all the little things that we will, help them get through in the next couple months. But one of the bigger things is we will be sending out a workout plan to them here soon. Coach Carizzi gets that out to them right after signing day. And we always tell them, we certainly want you as strong as you can be, but you better be in shape. You better be running from this day till when you report here.
Well, we've got our workout plan for the broadcasters too, so we'll be ready for this when the season
starts.
Already
well into it.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Right. Liam, congratulations again on just a great class. Thanks so much for everything that you've done with us today, and obviously continued success. It's like I've said to the others, spring ball is not very far off.
No, spring ball starts here in a couple weeks, and we're excited to get going. And thank you guys for always supporting us and doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Liam Cline spending some time with us again, and you've heard from all the assistant coaches, so maybe now it's about time we hear from the head man. Let's go back to the podium. Head coach Brian Bohannon. Coach.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it, and awful thankful for all the hard work that everybody has done to bring 23 outstanding young men to continue to build on a foundation and legacy of a football program that's really 5 years old. So we're awful excited about it. I want to thank the coaching staff, first of all, for their hard work. These guys go out day in, day out, building relationships with these young men to give them a chance to come here and be a part of something special. I want to thank David Bell, Communications Department, Video, Brian, and Nathan for everything you guys have done this morning and do to help build our program, to help get the brand of our program out there. I can't thank you guys enough. And anybody from the administration that came over this morning, the donors, definitely want to thank Chip and JD's for breakfast. They always do an outstanding job. Chip's been with us from day one. That's something special for us as well. So a huge thank you to everybody involved. We're excited about what's going on. We've already started our morning workouts. We'll start spring ball February 22nd. Our spring game will be March 22nd. And I think as we continue to build this thing, we want to continue to build the fan base. We want to continue to build everything involved with this program to make it something elite, something special that a lot of people can talk about and be proud about to see that KS represented wherever you might be. So come be a part of us. Come to KSUAllis.com to find out anything that's going on with KSU football. Thank you. It's another exciting day. We're looking forward to next season. Thank you.
All right, Coach Bohannon offering the podium thoughts, and now we're going to have the pleasure of having him come over and join us here at the table as well. As signing day 2019 is complete, but adding to the signing class or the new incoming players may not be complete yet. It's an ongoing process, I know, but congrats on a terrific signing class, obviously, and we really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to be a part of all this.
Well, thank you guys, and listen, it takes a village to make something like this happen. There's a lot of people working awful hard to bring young men, to build young men, to develop young men, to provide the support around a program that gives it a chance to be successful. So it's a team effort, and we're appreciative of everybody.
The fact that you're the 18 young men, the OGs that are leaving, the 22 really that are leaving, you got a chance to watch them grow from this point in their career all the way until the football bank when they walked off with Letterman jackets. What did that mean to you to see that progression and see what you've put in place as the head coach is working?
Yeah, and that's a special group of young men, and they're always going to hold a special place in my heart. Just what they went through and the way they went about their business, the hard work they put in, it paid off for them. But it's unique. It only happens once in a lifetime. But I think what they've done, what you've seen these guys do, is they've developed what Kennesaw State football is about. And now you see that getting passed down from class to class. We had our first run Tuesday morning. I was kind of curious to see, you know, who's going to run up and break it down, because you've had the same guys doing it for the last few years. Sure. So you got a new group coming, and you can see that they don't want to let it go. You know what I mean? And I think that's what when we set out to do this, you build something like that, the kids do it, the coaches do it, and then now you just pass it from class to class, and you hope it's handed down. And we've always said we're going to continue to try to get better. I've told our kids every year we're going to try to out-recruit you. Mm-hmm. And I said, don't take that personal. I said, but you better go to work every day. You know, and so we try to get a little bit better every day with the kids that we bring in the program.
You told us not long ago, a little bit after the season ended, that, you know, you normally fairly early into the new year name a player committee and things like that. But as a coach, and you told me you're not going to do that for a while. As a coach, you've got to be excited about all these position battles and all this competition for playing time that you have coming up with all these talented players.
There's no doubt. It really is exciting. And you're right, we're not doing a player committee. We're going to wait. I want some of that to develop in the off season, and so you can get the right group of young men on that committee. So, but I'm excited. I was excited when we rolled out yesterday morning at 5:45 for the first workout. It was a group that you could tell came out was hungry, you know, and they were attacking things in the right way. Fatigue set in a little bit after that. But I was excited about it. I'm excited about the off season. You know, so there's a lot of competition. A lot of guys are going to have to step up, but that's what it's about, and so we're excited about it.
With success generally comes change, and you have a lot of change on the defensive end. That's got to be exciting for you as a head coach, not only to bring in some people that you may have had relationships in the past, but kind of see how they fit into this program.
Well, there's no question, and I think, you know, I always tell our team, when team has success, individual accolades follow. And to those guys' credit, Coach Newberry, Coach Volker, Coach Downing, Coach Bland, those guys did an unbelievable job here. And I'm happy for all of them because at the end of the day, it's what you want personally for your future. So I'm excited for those guys. But I think it's always good sometime in a program. Continuity is good, and I think that was really important. But sometimes a little change brings a little bit of unknown. And also for players, they got a clean slate. Those guys on defense now, whether you were a starter or a backup, you got to be going, all right, I got new coaches. They don't know me. They don't know me from before. I got a clean slate. So defensively, all those kids got a clean slate. Offensively, 9 of 11 starters are gone. So everybody's fighting for a job. So you're looking at a football team that ought to be hungry, that ought to be excited about every opportunity to go compete in the weight room, out on the grass, practice, whatever it is, because you look at both sides, man, what a great opportunity right now.
You know, one of the things in closing that stood out when I visited with you after the season was you told me we just got to find a way to get over the hump in the quarterfinals. How many coaches can say that at the end of their 4th season in the history of a program? Not many.
Yeah, you know, and our expectation here in Chandler, and those guys will tell you from day one, we want to build a championship football program. And not just the Big South. That's a segue to the playoffs. To find a way to play in January is our ultimate goal, and to find a way to win that game, not just get there. We want to win it. And so we don't think any different. I guess when you step back outside of it and look in, Brian, I can see, you know what I mean? But it's for us, we want to continue to build on what we've done. And, you know, as I tell our guys all the time, and I said the other morning, you know, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And if you're staying the same, you're not getting any better. And we want to continue to get better as a program. So that's something we definitely want to build on and continue to do. And I think our kids get it. They get it. And it takes a lot of hard work to get where we want to go.
Well, congratulations on a great 2018 season and what looks like to be a great nest-up class here in 2019. And we look forward to seeing these young men on the field.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
Coach, thanks very much. And thanks to all of you that have tuned in this morning for National Signing Day, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. I want to thank David Bell. Also want to thank Will Adams and his video staff, and thank Coach and the entire staff, and, of course, the athletic department folks here that make it possible for us to bring you not only National Signing Day, but Kennesaw State football as well. That'll about do it here from the coaches' offices on National Signing Day. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Owls.